Hold on a minute.
John and Jim are both still.
Steve, is this Sal over here?
John's always.
Yeah, he's here.
Jim's here.
Yeah, that's-
Okay, you're good.
okay, now it's polished. Okay, now it's good.
Yes, it just started. Sorry, we just haven't, you want to convene yet?
He went to the.
John, how are you?
I'm good. I mean, all things considered.
Yeah, they're the same.
Yeah,
Once, maybe twice.
it's just we're gonna move this up to here.
Yeah.
Make sure it's equal.
Sure.
You printed that?
Robert, how are you?
Want me to go?
You get somebody to print it for you, right? Yeah, yeah, Marty.
Okay, everybody.
Jacob, how are you?
Well, I got an extra.
I just want to remind everybody that we're live on Candid Camera today, so it's live streaming is starting today. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. So roll call, Mr. Diana,
Here.
Mr. Steinberg,
Here?
Mr. Brescia,
Here.
Mr. Gatos, Mr. Scribice,
Here.
Mr. DeSalvo is here, he's in limbo right now. Lori D'Souza, Vinnie Cossolino over here, Kevin Dow, Gus Gonzalez, and Joel Kleiner are all also here.
Oh, you got it?
So first up is approval of the minutes from the November 14th board meeting. I'm sure everybody read them in their packet, and if there's any questions or comments.
So moved.
All right, thank you.
Second.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Good. Second is the audit committee meeting minutes from November 14th also. So if there's no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve those. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and thirdly, the November 14th governance committee meeting minutes, which also appear to be okay, so I'll entertain a motion for those.
I'll move it.
Thank you. I need a
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to juggle the agenda a little bit here, and we're going to go to the attorney-client session now, rather than a little bit further down the pipe. And that means the board members and the executive team have to move to another room. So if we could do that, gentlemen and ladies? Oh, in motion, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
So we're gonna move?
Yes.
All in favor?
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to move because of the camera.
Can all stay put?
Because of what?
Because of the camera.
Bill, how are you?
You just got here. You're leaving already.
Chase them out.
Yeah.
That's what you call a bug out, right?
So Melanie, if we're talking right now, it's being aired? Okay, good to know.
Yeah. You don't have to stay in here. You can move around. Just yeah. But yes, it's being filmed.
I don't know, there are no comments. No,
that's something that interact with. So I don't know the answer. I know that, so we're gonna have to do, that's a discussion with them, because I thought that, I don't know, maybe it's, maybe the other thing, maybe $75,000. Follow me? The purchase price, what we're missing, which I don't know. The purchase price is $32. And they may be going to loan, I don't know, it's a conversation. We're gonna set up. Right. So that's gonna be large, and then send that to the board, solid, copy showing the account. We'll start to put the questions together, because while I'm driving, I'm sending you. So put the questions on. That's one. Yeah, I started reading on my phone. That's one there. So nothing else is I would share. I see this is open. I tried to close it.
Yeah, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, and I unlocked it, so.
Yeah, there's no latch. It's not that cold, that is it?
Yeah, it's fine. Thank you, though.
Yeah. Sure, no, I remember. You initially shepherded or helped us, and, we appreciate that.
How's everything going?
So far, looks like we're making progress with EDC, and then hopefully they'll approve our application. Baby steps, it should be all right, we'll see. So we appreciate all your help, you and Maureen and everything, Alex. Thanks. executive session.
I didn't miss anything. Not yet.
Just me.
Which is smart. Oh, really?
Oh, you can go where other, just do that. It's terrible. I need a mouse. I need a mouse. I think the one I have at home, I use it. Respond. Stupid little thing. I was gonna try and set up Joe's computer. And I think it would just oh, wow.
Yo.
That's right before here.
This is Bill. Okay.
I get paid by the hour. Good afternoon.
I have a school at Carmine folder on this. Mr. Bell's house. There's a school title contact guy. Might actually be. I want to go on that.
Yeah, Charlie Franco. Hey,
Who are you representing today?
Churchill Properties. The 9W, it's the closed hotel.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get paid by the hour?
I get paid by that.
So that's all right?
So I shouldn't mind waiting. Have they talked to the board or should, do you know?
Not that I'm aware of.
No? I should talk to him about that.
Yeah, let me give you my card. I'll give you a few of them so I can get them.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Marie knows about it, but, and you know about the project, but they should talk to you
But
guys.
I haven't heard from them, no, not directly, so.
Yeah, that'd be
definitely
good.
talk to them, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and it's supposed to be a big, it's gonna be a big development.
So I know how to, yeah, I said, could I just put, no, I don't know. So.
No hay necesidad, no hay necesidad. ¿Qué piensas? Yo voy a estar aquí mañana sola hasta las 2:30, las 3. Voy a estar aquí, usted puede venir cualquier día perfecto. Gracias, si puede está bien, si no, entonces me llaman durante la semana que viene para, confirmar que ya va a venir para yo aquí. Okay. That's perfect, that's fine, yeah, I'll be here, yeah. Yeah, that sounds good, yeah. Mira, de mañana. Of course, okay.
The Republican child tax credit.
I used to be on a school board, and there used to be a woman that used to come to our meetings, and she would sit there and knit. I'm thinking, wow, maybe I should take that up.
Yeah.
Get something done. So I've been playing with my phone.
I'm not playing.
No, oh, sorry.
I just booked my Super Bowl weekend in Vegas.
Nice.
Well, my wife did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that is a good Christmas present.
Okay, is everybody awake? Okay. Joel coming back in?
Yes. I don't know where he is.
He's right there,
Where is he?
right there.
Oh, okay.
Did Steve leave?
No, he's coming back.
Because it's almost, because it's
Yeah, I
almost
think
3.
he's, okay, so we are going to do financial reports and requests for payments. Mr. Kleiman?
If you refer to the financial packet, separate financial packet in front of you on page 1, we have the summary of bank balances and investments as of November 30th, 2019 for the IDA. And as of November 30th, is a total of $9,272,627.
Okay, anybody have any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the financial report of the IDA. Thank you.
So moved.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, is that it, Joel?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, new and unfinished business, we got the chairman's report, and as usual, I have nothing to report. Chief Operating Officer?
Okay, so the first thing would be that the, in the board member package were included the bylaws revisions. So we have submitted to governance committee, and governance has approved the bylaws that are before you. So this updates job descriptions. Really, those are the most marked changes to the bylaws, were job descriptions and cleaning up some of the old items that have been carried forward, and also taking out some of specific references to individuals that aren't necessary anymore, and aligning things like live streaming and the meetings themselves. So did everyone get a chance to review those bylaws as were sent to you and in your packet?
Yes.
If that's the case, Chairman Rogolsky, if you would like to call for a vote to approve the
Yeah,
bylaws.
does anybody have any questions or comments regarding the changes? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the changes in the bylaws as presented by management.
You want to do a roll call?
Sure. Well, we need a motion in a second, don't we?
Resolution of the Orange County Industrial Development Agency
I-
revising
Wait
the
a
bylaws.
We
Wait
didn't get a
second.
motion or a second yet.
Yeah, I know. So,
So one of you guys would like to make a motion or a second? Thank you,
Second.
thank you.
Member Schreiber,
Yes.
Mr. Steinberg,
Yes.
Mr. Diana.
Yes.
Mr. Brescia,
Yes.
Mr. DeSalvo,
Yes.
Mr. Gatos.
Yes.
Chairman Rogowski.
Yes,
7 ayes, Madam Chairwoman.
okay, thank you.
Great. And then moving on very quickly, last month we talked about engaging Loki Brill to monitor the construction at our Warwick Valley LDC site. Just to let everyone know, that has been executed and authorized, so they're currently monitoring to make sure that all of the work is moving forward quickly. A few months ago, we did the final approval for King Zach, which is a manufacturing company in Goshen, for their expansion of their facility. We gave that final approval contingent upon support letter being received from Goshen, which we have received. In their support letter, they put a caveat that they didn't want the taxes to dip below a certain amount, which is where they are, but because it's an expansion, they will not be dipping below that certain point, so all is good there. We'll be moving to close with them. Southgate Flats, which is the hotel in Highland Falls, will be holding its public hearing tomorrow. And just to let everyone know, there's a discrepancy of the square footage in the public hearing notice, but it's actually, we over-anticipated the square footage, so it might be a little bit smaller when the construction is complete, but just wanted to give everyone a heads up on that. NYTT, who is a company in Goshen, has again for, I would say, the 6th year, failed to make their school payment, their school pilot payment. Kathy Hunter, who is here, our compliance person, is following up with the project. If they are non-responsive, it's very likely that we'll be bringing this back to the board to once and for all terminate their benefits as someone who is consistently late on pilot payments and also, man, it takes a lot of time to get audit compliance out of. So Kathy will update that.
What's that company?
It's a trucking company in
Oh,
Goshen.
right, okay.
What's the name again?
NYTT.
NYTT, thank you.
You're welcome. In your board packet, it is on page 35. You have your 2020 board meeting schedule. Nothing is really changing, obviously, and the dates are changing, but it's still the second Thursday of every month.
December 10th might be a problem because in December, the legislature meets earlier in the
Okay.
month because of the holidays.
So we'll keep in touch before that, and then we'll,
Okay.
we can
Yeah.
adjust as necessary.
Okay.
The IDA sponsored a youth conference that Melanie led last month. There was some great press about it. It was in your packet, but it was a very successful youth conference. In addition, there were a few articles about it. We were also mentioned in the New York Daily News because the Governor Cuomo had signed the hemp bill. That's in your packet as well. So the IDA was quoted as part of our accelerator with our hemp cluster. So again, continuing to get national traction with our hemp cluster. And I think that is it for me, for now. Till later when I hear from you.
Okay. Okay, so next up is board committee reports. We have the audit committee report. The audit committee met today.
I'm sorry, I was thinking government committee, but I'm wrong.
We also have governance.
No,
too. We just didn't add it.
government is OCFC.
Oh, that's right.
I
Oh,
wasn't here.
then never mind, I was fine.
Jim, would you like me to speak on the audit committee?
Please.
Okay. So for the audit committee meeting, which we held just prior to this meeting, we discussed a few items, and of course, now my papers are all disturbed. But we had, first of all, in audit committee, we discussed the Warwick Valley LDC, which is actually going to be in the resolution section here, but it was a reference from the governance committee to the full board for approval, but we'll discuss that further under the resolutions, unless you would like me to discuss it now.
No, I'm okay.
No, we can talk about that later. And then the other audit request was in the OCFC side, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes, okay. So that was that for the the audit report.
Okay, accelerator committee?
Very much you do. I'll do a very short version because I think we need to catch up some time,
Yeah.
right? You have to go. Yeah.
2 minutes, I
For the board members on the way out, I'll give you a package, which is the year-end report for the accelerator. This is the scorecard in terms of number of jobs created, the 3 clusters. 29 companies are in the accelerator, 38% of them are women-owned. You can look over the data. And again, for the board members, you know our newest accelerator is in Highland Falls. It's the one on artificial intelligence. And this is kind of our roadmap for how we're going to get this going. Next month, I'll give a much more detailed report on that. And thanks to Jim DeSalvo for helping us get situated in Highland Falls and pushing this project forward.
It's part of that big paycheck we get here.
You don't spend any more with this.
Right.
Okay, next up is applications and resolutions, and first up is 360 Middletown Holding LLC.
Just to update everyone, I know Mr. Billings is here, hello, but we had a public hearing for this project yesterday. Kevin oversaw the public hearing in the town of Wallkill. There was no public comment. Again, just as a reminder for the project details, it's a $5.2 million project, 32,000 square feet, 46 jobs. We do have town of Wallkill IDA support. They're seeking a pilot, a sales tax, and a mortgage reporting tax. They did qualify for a pilot under the scoring, so it would be a 10-year pilot that's being sought. This is the final resolution.
Okay.
On Resolution 13 Avenue Fish Market Inc. project. Resolution authorizing the Orange Industrial Development Agency to take a leasehold interest in an aggregate of approximately 7.8 plus or minus acre parcel of land located at 360 Crystal Run Road in the town of Wallkill, Orange County, New York. Appoint 13 Fish Market Incorporated as its agent to undertake a certain project. Negotiate, execute, and deliver a lease agreement, leaseback agreement, and tax agreement. Provide financial assistance to the company in the form of a sales and use tax exemption for purchases and rentals related to the acquisition, construction, and equipping of the project. A partial real property tax abatement to the tax agreement, and see if necessary a mortgage recording tax exemption for financing related to the project, and execute related documents.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call?
Mr. Gatos?
Yes.
Mr. Steinberg?
Aye.
Mr. Brescia?
Aye.
Mr. Diana?
Abstain.
Mr.
Schreiber.
Yes.
Mr. DeSalvo. And Madam Chairwoman.
Yes.
And is anybody?
I don't think so.
6 ayes.
Okay.
Congratulations. There's one outstanding item just before, and Jacob, for you too. The labor policy wasn't signed by the chief. Be able to take place. I'm sure we can work together on that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I just need,
I'll get that fixed.
if I just interrupt,
Is that-
Yeah, no, that's fine.
your contact info.
Yeah.
And Russ too. Russ, hi Jacob.
Oh,
Both last week.
they're just-
I'll reach out to you.
We'll take care of it.
Yeah, that's just one.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, board.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. Good luck. Next up is the County of Orange Heritage
lawyer.
Trail, and we
Jacob
are
Miller.
going to table this until next month.
Jason.
You need a
Jacob.
motion, I think, yes. I'll move it.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't need a
Reggie.
motion.
Next
You
month.
don't need
Yeah,
a,
No, not really, not in.
you don't need a motion.
Okay, sorry.
Well, if our attorney says we do, we do. So I'll entertain a motion.
Well, actually, nobody made a motion, so, yeah, so you just take it off the agenda then.
Yeah, take it off the agenda. Okay. All right, next up
Unless
is,
there's an objection. I'm not objecting.
no, okay, good. Lynchy's, am I saying that correctly?
Lynchy's Amusement Corp.
Amusement. So I have a resolution for that.
So this is the castle
Right.
in Chester. They have an ongoing project. Their sales tax exemption is expiring. This is as, furtherance of the original project as induced. So they requested an extension for 1 more year, and that's what this request is.
Okay, so.
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second?
Sure. Resolution authorizing the Orange County Industrial Development Agency to extend the agent status of Lenchi's Amusement Corp., DBA The Castle, in connection with a certain project undertaken by the company as agent of the agency located at 109-115 Brookside Avenue in the Village and Town of Chester, Orange County, New York, and execute and deliver an extended sales tax exemption package, extended New York State Form ST-60 and related documents.
So
Mr. Steinberg.
we need a
Aye.
motion and a
They
second?
did it already.
Oh, they
did that
Okay,
already.
I'm sorry.
We went out of order today. Mr. Steinberg.
Aye.
Mr. Brescia. Left.
He's left.
Mr. Diana.
Yes.
Mr. Schreiber.
Yes.
Mr. DeSalvo.
Yes.
Mr. Gatos.
Yes.
Madam Chairwoman.
Yes.
6 ayes, Madam Chairwoman. Resolution is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Amy's Kitchen.
Amy's Kitchen, same thing. Again, the construction is ongoing. In your packet that Melanie made sure that you all had upon arrival today is a letter explaining kind of where they are in their construction. They did request it for 2 years. We've told them that we will only extend it for 1 year. That way we have to make sure that we mandate a check-in next
Yeah.
year. So we will only be, at this point, approving an extension through December of 2020.
Okay, good. All right, anybody have any questions or comments? All right, you need a motion and a second? Yes?
So.
Second.
Thank you.
Resolution authorizing the Orange County Industrial Development Agency to extend the agent status of Amy's Kitchen, Inc. in connection with a certain project undertaken by the company as agent of the agency, located on Hartley Road in the town of Goshen, Orange County, New York, and execute and deliver an extended sales tax exemption package, extended New York State Forms ST-60 and related documents. Mr. Steinberg.
Aye.
Mr. Brescher is absent. Mr. Diana.
Yes.
Mr. Schreiber.
Yes.
Mr. DeSalvo.
Yes.
Mr. Gatos.
Yes.
Madam Chairwoman.
Yes.
6 ayes, Madam Chairwoman. Resolution adopted.
Okay, thank you. Then Warwick Valley LDC.
So the Warwick Valley LDC, as everyone at this table is aware, has a $1.5 million agreement with us to construct the facility that is in Warwick, obviously. For our CBD cluster, it's our accelerator, Urban Extracts facility. But in addition to that, Mike Sweeten attended the audit committee meeting today, seeking an additional $500,000 for another building on the same parcel. This is to do kind of a stopgap measure. They had an unanticipated expansion on the very important piece of the Warwick Valley cluster, which is the EVO Labs portion. So the lab portion itself is the most, I would say, and Vinny would probably back me up on this, one of the most important parts of the entire hemp cluster, as it will be the only licensed New York State tester for CBD, THC, narcotics, and food testing, so on and so forth. It's a huge attraction tool for Warwick itself, and it's also a huge attraction tool for us, as this is where our accelerator is located. So the request for the additional $500,000 will mirror exactly the amount of, will mirror exactly the structure of the $1.5 million agreement that we have, which again, to remind everybody, will be 100% reimbursed by New York State. We also have an interest in that property, so we have ownership in it, and we will be collecting that reimbursement from New York State upon completion, which we anticipate to be late 2020, early 2021.
Of the 1.5 or
And
the
the
5?
five, both.
So
All of the
2
2
million?
Correct.
2 million. Back by the end of 20?
Yes, well, we hope so. I mean, we're at the state's
I
mercy,
understand.
you know, but yes, it should be.
Okay.
So that would be the request. There is a letter to that effect in everyone's packet, again, the supplemental packet, and then Kevin has a resolution.
Okay, so we need a motion in a second?
So move it.
Thank you.
So just one question, Kevin. When do they need the additional 500?
Right away.
Okay.
Resolution authorizing the Orange County Industrial Development Agency to amend the agent agreement, the lease agreement, and leaseback agreement to make additional project expenditures with respect to the Warwick Valley Local Development Corporation project as more fully described below. Mr. Steinberg.
Aye.
Mr. Brush is absent. Mr. Diana.
Yes.
Mr. Schreibeis.
Yes.
Mr. DeSalvo.
Yeah.
Mr. Gatos.
Yes.
Madam Chairwoman.
Yes,
6 ayes, Madam Chairwoman. Resolution is adopted.
okay, thank you. Okay, other board business, Windsor Hospitality?
Correct. So Windsor Hospitality has, there's a letter about that also in the supplemental packet. Windsor Hospitality, for those who don't remember, is on Route 300 here in New Windsor. It is behind the Steak and Stein and behind the Icarus Diner. It's a hotel project that was induced 4 years ago.
2016.
Yeah, 2016. So it's been quite some time. There was an Article 78 issue with the town. So they've hit a real snag, but at this point, they've provided us some status update. The Article 78, I think, is now behind them. They're starting to move forward with their planning process. However, because it is an outdated application, we have asked them to complete a new application with all of the new requirements to make sure that it falls within the scoring, to make sure that we have everything that we need to have from a compliance perspective, you know, from the state's viewpoint. So that's just as an update, that will be forthcoming. Regardless, whether or not they had to fill out a new application, we would still be required to get to final resolution once their environmentals were completed, but that's just an update.
Well, the environmental actually is, they actually issued a finding statement to town, so that is done. Now they have to go back to the zoning board, and they went back, and they believe they're gonna get the variances, and then they're gonna proceed to the site plan.
Oh,
So
all right, so.
they're hoping by with the first quarter of
Okay, yeah.
2020 that they will be done and be ready to go.
All right, that was gonna be one of my
Okay.
questions.
Just a question. Is there a pilot involved?
Yes,
How long?
10 years
And we changed our rules to 4.
we have.
I think we should discuss this.
Well, that would be something that the board would be certainly entitled to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
once they resubmit.
Yeah,
it.
Right, that's
But
part
I'm
of the
saying,
rules.
am I
Well,
not?
they have to get, because
Well,
the
it's gotta go
scorecard
through
is
the new
what it is.
scoring.
It's gotta go through the new
Excuse
me?
scoring.
It's gotta go through the new scoring.
Yeah, okay, I'm just saying, I
Absolutely.
wanna
No,
make
agreed.
sure that we
Definitely.
go through our new,
One of the things too, because it's been so long, I mean, industries change, we have to make sure that the job counts are still there,
Right.
you know, I mean,
Okay,
as it was
I'm just saying.
induced, definitely, but absolutely, it'll be reviewed
okay.
fully. For Banta, now I'm drawing a blank, hold on, let me see.
Sure.
Yeah, do you have it, Kevin?
Sure, I received,
Thank
I
you.
had written a letter and spoken to Mr. Banta and Mr. Banta Senior. And basically, they're right next door to the last application. They began in 2018, a year ago.
Yeah.
And they are at the point where their final environmental impact statement has been filed, and they are waiting for the finding statement to end the secret process from the New Windsor Planning Board. They were supposed to be on the agenda today, I think it was, or yesterday, but they can't, the meeting was canceled. So now they're looking to January for the seeker, and then they, hopefully by February, March, they'll have their site plan approval.
And they're
So,
still within their expiration date, I think.
right, they're still within that year, basically, so.
And then finally, we have Churchill Properties. Again, that's a hotel in Highland Falls. That's been an ongoing project. We've also asked that project to submit a new application, once again, because it's been quite some time from the initial approvals and the initial inducements. But Kevin, did you have anything you wanted?
Well, I know Charlie Franco is here, and you do have information of their financing seems to have come into place. They did report that most of the off-site improvements, especially the drainage, they have already done. And they are getting very close. If you read the letter from November 21st, I think that was in your packet. It explains the entire project from beginning to end, what the delays were, and what they're hoping to accomplish to get this thing going.
How long are our approvals good for?
A year.
Okay. And did I hear you just say that they verified that they have funding?
They have the financing pretty much wrapped up now. That was
Okay.
one of the biggest problems
Yeah.
they had.
Yeah.
There's a letter from a group that says that it's gonna be investors and I guess get the financing in place.
Okay.
So it looks like and they have moved forward with the actual off-site improvements to the site. Once they get their funding in place, I guess they will come back and they will hopefully wrap up their benefits with us and then proceed to build this project. So
Okay.
they're still active. So,
Okay.
And some here.
That's here. I think it's a good sign that you have the attorney here that's
Yeah.
representing the project, so.
Okay. All right, good. Anybody have any questions? Okay. You have anything else for this august body? All right, so that being the case, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Thank
Second.
you. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. On to Plan B, the Orange County Funding Corp. So we'll start with the roll call. Mr. Diana?
Here.
Mr. Steinberg?
Here.
Mr. Gresham is absent. Mr. Gatos? Mr. Strabis?
Here.
Mr. DeSalvo?
Present.
Lori, Vinnie, Kevin, Russ, and Joel are all here also. Next up is the approval of the minutes from the November 14, 2019 meeting. If anybody has any questions or comments, otherwise I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Mike, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, financial reports?
You refer to the packet in front of you, pages 5, 6, and 7 are the monthly schedules, the Orange County Funding Corporation. As of November 30th, the balance of cash and investments, $1,938,561. Page 6 are the summary of income and expenses through the end of November. And page 7 are vouchers to be approved totaling $457.80.
Okay, any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the financial reports for the Orange County Funding Corp.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Opposed? Okay. Did you say abstain?
Yeah.
Okay. Nope, noting the abstention of Mr. DeSalvo. Okay, applications and resolutions. We have the County of Orange Heritage Trail, an expenditure request.
Julie's here.
Okay. Sure.
So
Thanks
the
for having me
application's in
again.
my
This
packet.
is, I think, time number 3 that we're here, so
Well,
same thing
you
I
know
said
we love
last time.
having you here, so.
I can tell. So same thing I said last time, I don't want to give you any more detail than you like. You have a couple of applications. Frankly, this application is verbatim to the last one, but I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
And this one, for the record, is for $200,000 project expenditure for the OCFC.
Right. Okay.
So moved.
Any questions?
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Move on.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions or?
Roll call on that.
Should be a roll call on that.
Oh, roll call, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mr. Gatos?
Yes.
Roll call on this. Mr. Gatos?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. DeSalvo?
Yeah.
Mr. Strabis?
Yes.
Mr. Steinberg?
Aye.
Mr. Drescher is absent. Mr. Diana?
Yes.
And Madam Chairwoman?
Yes.
6 ayes, Madam Chairwoman, resolution is adopted.
Thanks very much. May I just
Okay.
ask one question for clarification? Does this supersede or invalidate our original application to the IDA? This awarding this
No.
amount?
Further discussion.
Yeah, for
Okay.
further.
Understood.
Further
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much.
I'll be in
Okay.
touch.
Okay, and then the Village of Highland Falls, an expenditure extension.
Correct, so this was what we discussed in the governance committee, in the CFC, the Village of Highland Falls. By the way, the governance committee also recommended $200,000 for the trail as approved. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
I know.
Right. Village of Highland Falls has a project expenditure currently outstanding. They have, obviously, it's expired on December 31st of this year. They haven't expended all the funds, so they have requested an extension through May of 2020. This is not abnormal. And the governance committee recommended this for approval as well.
All right, anybody have any questions or comments?
I have a resolution prepared for this.
Okay.
I didn't know about the other one. Resolution authorizing extension of time to the Village of Highland Falls for use of the unauthorized project expenditure for its rehabilitation of buildings on Main Street project. I need a motion.
I need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Strybis?
Yes.
Mr. Diana?
Yes.
Mr. Brescher is absent. Mr. DeSalvo?
Abstain.
Mr. Steinberg?
Aye.
Mr. Gatos?
Yes.
Madam Chairwoman?
Yes,
That is 5 ayes, Madam Chairwoman, the resolution is adopted.
okay. And if, is there any other board business, you
Just
guys?
the only other board business, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, just that the meeting schedule is also in this packet, although it's exactly the same as the IDA.
I'm sorry, it was really it from the previous meeting, but did we vote on the 500K for Warwick? That we did? Did I abstain from that?
You did.
No, I don't.
Can you just double check? I thought I did.
I thought you did too.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, I'm sorry.
You abstained.
All right, noted.
Is it noted?
Noted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to.
Okay, so on behalf of myself, I would like to thank all you board members for your contribution this year and your support. I appreciate it a lot. It's been a lot of fun arguing with everybody. And wish you happy holidays and do some good work next year.
You too.
And staff, thank you.
Adjournment?
All right, so we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay, second.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Things that, like the schedule.
Great holiday.
See you, Bill.
You need a printed packet, or we can get you one.
Yeah, it's probably easier just to give me one.
That's fine, stop.
You gotta be that way.